What's going on, guys, and welcome back to WWE Network and show where I, Graham G.S. and Matthews, break down all the original content I watch on the WWE Network. Today we're talking the November 7, 2020 edition of Talking Smack, as hosted by Kayla Braxton and her all-new co-host, Paul Heyman. Now, on SmackDown, when they advertised the episode and the guests they were having, including Carmella, Seth Rollins, King Corbin, they referred to Paul Heyman as the new host. So, again, I don't know if this is a permanent thing, and I've said for weeks now, is this going to be the new pairing? Not Paul and Kayla, but like, they had Sami Zayn on for a while. He was really entertaining. They had Montez Ford on a couple of weeks ago. He was good, too. Didn't say a lot. He was probably the weakest of the bunch. I like Heyman. I thought he added to the guest tier. He actually kind of spoke for them at certain points. And it worked just because he's a heel. Now, Sami, he's a heel, too. But I felt like he also kind of worked well with the baby faces they had on the show. It was just a different dynamic than what Heyman has with Braxton. But he's far from bad. I thought Heyman, did his role very well here. And it was a good episode overall, a bit better than it has been in recent weeks. So she even outright apologizes at the beginning of this episode, apologizing to Paul Heyman for stirring up trouble with Heyman and Uso and Roman Reigns earlier on in the episode, because if you can recall, she attempted to interview Jey Uso backstage about his actions from last week, and Paul was like, did Roman clear this interview? And then Roman got really pissed at Paul about it, he got pissed at Jey about it, and she asked him on Talking Smack here what the update on was on that, how were things with you guys? Obviously, it's Heyman, he doesn't answer, he just ignores it and kind of calls out Braxton. He kind of calls out Kayla for being a glorified gossiper as a reporter, as a journalist, which I thought was funny. And Heyman, he clarifies that everything that Roman does for Jey is for the betterment of Jey and his family. He's only looking out for him, Paul says. And that Reigns does not need to be the captain of Team SmackDown, not on the team itself, not for the men's team, but like just in general. He's leading SmackDown into Survivor Series as the Universal Champion. He doesn't give a fuck about brand supremacy, and why would he? The bigger stars don't give a shit about brand supremacy, because it doesn't even matter. Roman realizes that probably. So why would he care about wearing a SmackDown shirt in the Survivor Series? The answer is he shouldn't. That'd be dumb. So the first guest they have on is Carmella, who made her return on SmackDown at the very beginning of the show, attacking Sasha Banks following her successful SmackDown Women's Championship defense against Bayley. So Carmella does have new music. They play the music of the guests they have on right before they walk on set. They did not play the Fabulous music, the Fabulous, whatever. They did not play that music. They played something new, which isn't surprising. She has a completely different character now. She has been a heel before, but this is a different type of character. This is like an Emelina, Eva Marie, Lana type character where they really try to push like, oh, look at me, I'm sexy, I'm beautiful. And even Paul Heyman called her sexy multiple times here, which I thought was a little weird coming from him. But that's the character they're trying to play with Carmella, and I feel like we've seen it so many times, I just don't fucking care. And it just never really works either. Like any of the people I just mentioned, did it really work for any of them? The whole like, oh, I'm hot, like boom me. Eva Marie was gone from the company. Never worked for Emelina. She got fired 6 months later. Lana didn't work for her when she showed up on SmackDown a couple of years ago with it. I feel like we've seen it before with other people recently. Definitely Carmella. And it just, maybe she'll win the championship. I don't know. I just feel like we've seen so much of Carmella in the last 4 years. It's not even like she's an Natalia who's been here for a decade. Carmella, to her credit, has done a lot of things. She even ran down her resume here. She says her track record speaks for itself. She's a former SmackDown Women's Champion. She's a former two-time, I guess which is true, Miss Money in the Bank, the first ever Miss Money in the Bank. She won the WrestleMania Women's Battle Royal. She won the Mixed Match Challenge. She's a former 24/7 champion. She's beaten Asuka and Charlotte multiple times. She's not wrong. She has a pretty impressive resume. For someone who didn't accomplish a damn thing in NXT, that's pretty impressive. But she said she picked the right moment to return after scoping out the division. And she must have been scoping out that division for a long time, because we've not seen Carmella on SmackDown since May. Since right after, I think, the Money in the Bank pay-per-view. But obviously she wants, as she says, the SmackDown Women's Championship. And Kayla brings up, oh, didn't you tweet her, supporting Sasha at Hell in the Cell? They pulled up the tweet and I'm like, what is she talking about? So Carmella said in response to the women's Hell in the Cell match a couple of weeks ago between Bayley and Banks, she said, what a match, with like the clapping emoji. And I'm like, that's it? Like, that was the tweet that she tweeted in support of Sasha? How is that supporting Sasha? That's just saying it was a good match. I thought AJ Styles and Jinder Mahal had a good match a couple of years ago. I wasn't supporting Jinder. I don't give a fuck about the guy. I like Sasha and Bayley, and I like the match, but I don't think Carmella tweeting that automatically means that she's supporting Sasha. So I like Kayla. I don't think she should have been shit on in the show as much as she was by all the heels. She was really kind of outnumbered here by Sami Zayn, Paul Heyman, Carmella, Corbin, and Rollins. It was all heels except for Kayla, which was funny. But I thought that was a really dumb thing to bring up just because it didn't really serve much of a purpose. But she did say, Kayla does bring up, what's with this new change in attitude, Carmella? The last time you were here, we had a different relationship. You were likable. We were friends. Everyone loved you. You were happy-go-lucky. What happened? And she said, that old Carmella wasn't me. I was simply the person that the fans wanted me to be, the typical generic heel response. This Carmella that we're seeing now is the real Carmella according to her. And again, she says that her track record speaks for itself and that she will win in due time the SmackDown Women's Championship. So after she leaves, we get Sami Zayn here on the show, not as a formal guest, but he comes on to complain real quick that he's really upset that he got replaced. He doesn't care if it was Heyman's fault, because Heyman tries to pin it on Kayla, and Kayla's like, do you honestly believe this crap coming from Paul Heyman? And the best part about this was when Heyman goes, would I lie to you, Sami? Do you think I would actually lie to you? And then Sami just kind of looks at him and goes, yes, I do, which I thought was amazing, because I was really hoping he wouldn't say no, and like, of course you wouldn't lie to me. I love how even in storyline, Paul Heyman's a fucking liar, and how we all know he's a liar, and how he lies to these people, even in character too, which I thought was amazing. So, anyway. He said he's the man of the people, he's the man of the continents. He doesn't just represent the United States, and he's like, I'm not even going to address that one. I'm not even going to address being the champion of the United States, because he's kind of taking a shot at the election right now, and how it's still going on as I speak at this moment, and the shit that's going on in the country. You know what? I completely agree. If I had a choice, I love the United States Championship. I'd probably be a person of the continents too, and not just this country, because this country right now is a fucking mess. But Sami Zayn was absolutely right to call us out on our bullshit, because right now it's a mess out there. But he is planning on beating Bobby Lashley come Survivor Series, and he was very upset that he didn't make the show tonight either. Not tonight, but rather on Friday. So Corbin was the next guest. He knew he was going to beat Rey Mysterio. And Kayla brings up, well, don't you really feel like you kind of had an advantage there by attacking him beforehand? And he said, no. I mean, I was just doing my job. And Heyman even backs him up and backs up Corbin and saying, listen, when you enter the Thunderdome, you're ready for a fight. Which is complete crap, obviously, because if you're back... Heyman was like, Rey was on his phone. He shouldn't have been on his phone. You're telling me he can't be hanging out backstage like he has to be on his toes constantly? Then again, it's WWE, so maybe he makes a bit of a point. But I love how Heyman just defends every heel they had here on the show. I thought that was pretty funny. But he doesn't feel like he took advantage of Rey, of any distractions or anything. And Kayla brings up all the family drama that ensued at ringside with Rey and with Dominic and with Aaliyah and Murphy and Rollins and all this other crap. And Heyman brings up, do you ever hear from the Queen, Kayla? And Kayla's like, oh, am I the Queen? Paul's like, no, of course not. Do you hear from the Queen, that being Baron Corbin's wife or girlfriend or whatever? Do you ever hear from the Prince, the Princess? You don't, because Corbin leaves his family drama at home, he comes to work, and he wins. And I don't know, just Heyman serving as the mouthpiece for Corbin here, I really, really liked it. And obviously we currently have, Heyman as a Roman Reigns guy currently. As we should. He's obviously a better fit for that role. But it just made me think I like the pairing of Corbin and Heyman. And it's not like Corbin can't talk. His in-ring skills are questionable sometimes. I think he's a good wrestler. I don't know, just seeing the chemistry that these two had here, and you could tell Corbin was enjoying it as well. I thought they had really good chemistry. I think those two could work as a pairing down the road. I don't think it's ever going to happen, but I didn't hate what I saw from these two here. And Kayla asks him, do you want to be the team captain? And Corbin's like, why would I need to be the captain? I'm the fucking king. I'm the king of WWE. And everyone else will fall in line. Jey Uso can figure his shit out. Rollins, Owens, whoever else, they can just fall in line with what the king says. And if they do, I will lead our team to victory. And that's exactly what Seth Rollins says. So Corbin leaves, Rollins comes on the show and says the exact same thing, because he also qualified for Team SmackDown tonight. Or, again, I said tonight. They recorded this on Friday. The episode went up on Saturday, and I'm recording this on Saturday, so I mean Friday. But Rollins says the exact same thing. He comes on, one of the first things that he says after Kayla questions his jacket, which was funny, And again, she gets shit for it from Rollins. And I felt a little bad for her in that moment. He goes, I'm going to be the one to lead SmackDown to victory come Survivor Series. And he clarifies he does not take pleasure in the implosion of the Mysterio family. He gave them every chance imaginable to join the greater good, join his cause, blah, blah, blah. They didn't want to do it. That's their fault, he says. He gave them every opportunity to join him, and they turned it down. He wants Dominic to see the light. He's not really concerned about Rey anymore, but he is concerned about Dominic and still wants him to see the light. He believes that the truth about the greater good will come in due time. That he will see the truth about the greater good, Dominic that is, in due time. So that was the note that they kind of ended on here, teasing that Dominic might join Rollins. We already kind of have Aaliyah in that stable, I guess. I don't even know. Who could possibly care at this point about the whole Rollins, Mysterio, Murphy, Aaliyah bullshit? I mean, honestly, it's so fucking dumb. But anyway, I thought overall this was a good Talking Smack. I thought Heyman was good as the co-host. I still like Sami Zayn more, but Heyman was good. Kayla got a lot of shit, which was funny at times. The guests were good. We got the returning Carmella, Rollins, and Corbin, who both advanced on SmackDown. So some pretty notable guests. They had some stuff to say, nothing must-see. Usually they try to do some must-see stuff here on the show, whether it be like an unscripted promo or an announcement. We don't get that here. But I thought overall it was a good episode of Talking Smack. It was worthwhile for the 25 minutes it lasted. So check it out right now on the WWE Network, and thank you guys, as always, for checking out my Talking Smack reviews. You can check out more of my Talking Smack reviews right here on the channel in the description box down below in the playlist entitled Talking Smack Reviews, of course. Be sure to like the video, drop a comment, share the video, and subscribe to the channel for more daily content. Hit that bell button as well to be notified every time a new video goes up. My SmackDown review also went up earlier today, if not right before this, so check that out as well. And that's about it. So have a great weekend, guys. I'm Graham Jason Matthews, and I'll catch your ass down the road.